Welcome guys to another show of solos. This week it's me alone again, and I have many things to share. First, because I wasn't so regular on the podcast, so that has brought me to have almost a month to share instead of 2 weeks. But a lot of new podcast episodes are coming with guests. I finally find a way, thanks to you and Twitter, to have more idea of people to invite. So now I have a flow of people coming, a pretty good flow. So it should be more regular. Basically. On the other side, for me personally, a lot of things have moved. I don't know exactly where I shared last time, but one of the most key things have happened to me lately is, so I shared like I was struggling a bit with money, and that's still the case, but I'm going to Madeira anyway. I don't know how I will pay my things, but that will happen. I have did a big things for I have did big things for Capgo and few other things. One of the biggest one was releasing a blog article about Next.js and Capacitor and Konsa UI. I moved Capgo from Ionic UI to Konsa UI, and I made a blog post about making a next app with Konsa UI. And this is very sweet. I think we start by the big thing. I made this article based on someone else's article, and I credited in the article this guy. I rewrote most of what he did with ChatGPT. Only a few sentences were still the same because it was very short sentences. Anyway, I rewrote it, and it got a big kick on Twitter and Reddit and other places. So that was great, and I was super happy. 1 week later, I got contacted by Ionic team to have a call. And I was like, oh yeah, cool, let's have a call, because I've requested them to have a call many times since I start Capgo. I wanted to be friend. I wanted to be not a concurrent, but cooperative with them. And I wanted definitely to be friend. So I was like, oh, that will be the first friendly call. And that's it. So for me, it was a nice call coming. So I did the call. I went to the call, and then say, oh, so happy to see you, blah, 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 blah. Then the both people arrive and they say, okay, we have something to tell you. I was like, oola. That smell bad. They say you are now banned from all Ionic community. I was like, what the fuck? For what reason? And they say, because you have, there are some blog articles where I look like the one of Ionic, which is true. Because I am inspiring from their article to build mine, to go faster. As an indie maker, I cannot write everything myself, so I prefer to write sometimes things inspired and credit people, to say like I've took the things from them than to write everything myself, whatever. That's my way. And they told me, yeah, because you did that, and you did that on few things, and it's not because Capgo is a concurrent of a product, it's just because you did that and we do not agree with that. And I was like, yeah, no worry, I understand you didn't like it. I am an indie maker, I prefer to do things and ask forgiveness than other way around. I can fix the article, blah, blah, blah. And they say, yeah, no matter what, you're still banned, that's our final word. So I say, okay, I understand. I think a better way, if you want me to behave good, will be to keep a contact way with me and not close all the lines, but that's your choice. And they closed the call, and I was like, what the fuck? So I fixed the article, I modify what they say was not correct, blah, 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 blah. And I send them a message to say, hey, I modify that and that and that. I hope that will find you well. Also, the guy, Simon, from the community of Ionic, who I have spoke with him a week before, and he didn't think to tell me anything about his article on Twitter. So I contacted him and say, hey man, I'm sorry, really for your article. I didn't wanted to feel you were, I stole you anything. And that's why I credited you. So I said I change it, and now you can see it if you want, and that's okay. And none of them answer, so I decided to say, okay, so you don't want to be friend, so you want to be enemy, let's go enemy then. I'm fine with that, because since now I was lowering myself to don't go having big accounts, because I don't want to concurrence much Ionic. So now I decide I have also limited myself to send emails to the users I had, because I knew that's the user base of Ionic, and I find a way to scrap the email of the Slack, because they made it public. They forgot to make it private, the emails of people in the Slack. So whatever, I said, I will do all my best now to grow, and I don't care about them. And at one point, maybe I will outperform them by doing expo for web apps, instead of what they're doing, where it's not good for makers, just good for big corporate. So that's the big change who have been made, and I'm super happy about that. Like, I'm so relieved to don't have because before, since they were not answering me, I was like, yeah, but should I do that or that or that? So it was not authentic to me. For me, I have no ego what I do things. So if you copy me, I don't care. Do it. And I don't care to copying others. Like, copying for me is not, it's not because I copy you, you copy me, you're gonna succeed. That's unrelated as fuck. So for me, like, on the Hackers and Painters of Paul Graham, the book, there are some things said about like, the good artists steal, things, and that's what I'm doing. I'm stealing things I want, and I reshape it my way. And over time, you get more and more and more my way, but that's my way to start. I do the same with code. I do the same. I start from templates all the time. I never start from zero. I find something somewhere else. But that's all why I'm driven by doing open source, because I truly believe in that. I truly believe we should share and not hide things. It's not because you keep it for yourself, you're gonna have success in your, in the society should share more and should be by default open to me. And we should stop believe people are with bad intention by default. Anyway, now it's pretty clear my strategy. I have did a big announcement to lower the price of the biggest tier. So now my biggest tier are super sexy for big corporate, and I will get more and more people with big corporate, and I will find a way to support them. So that's the thing, and I am thrilled. Like, I will expand Capgo so bad that I will regret that, because that's a stupid move. That's just a move led by fear, and that's sad for them. And that's what I share on Twitter. Like I said, this is just like why Capacitor and Ionic is not big as React Native. It's because they are led by people who are not nice and not cool. And it's not the first time I had this feedback. Like, I had this feedback a lot on the GitHub. Each time I do a PR, like I go to Ionic, I find an issue I have. The issue is not solvable. So they say it's a real issue. So I go and I do a pull request. So I make the change in their code, and they say, no, sorry, we will not accept this change. And I'm like, why? Oh, because it's not the want we want to shape the product. Guys, and other people say, no, but we want it as well. And it was the same for Live Update. They say, no, we don't want to address the SMB market. I was like, what the fuck? So that's why I launched Capgo, because they were not willing to address the thing. So if I exist, it's just because they wrong management of things, basically. And they keep going. So it's just a proof they are wrong in a few ways. And I'm so sad for them, because they deserve to succeed, but they have to open their mind a bit. And I was thinking Max Lynch was the most open-minded one, and I truly believe he's still, because when I see him posting, it's way different, but it seems he's not aligned with the rest of the company, or part of the company. So I'm sorry for that. And I had a good conversation with him before. He told me very nice things about my project, and then he stopped to reply when this happened. So I think he has no choice. And that's sad. That's very sad. that's sad for all of them. I still recommend this technology because probably at one point you're gonna switch to mine when I will fork the project, because all is open source, so I can fork it anyway, and I will make it the best platform for makers. Like everything is ready for you, like Expo. You just like start, launch, and it works. You don't need to overthink what I have to add and whatever. I will maintain a whole platform. And I really want that, to make it as simple as possible and a wall. Super good for maker to quick launch app. I don't want like to struggle anymore for myself and for others. I think we should have more go to market faster. I'm sorry for that. So yeah, that's give me so much energy as you can see, and some willingness to grow Capgo further. So for that, I have improved my landing page. I have improved my product the last months. It's crazy. I made a lot of things. I don't know where to start from. One thing I can start is like already, which is good. It's unrelated to that. It's like it's 100 days I'm posting on Whip every day. So now it's 136. But I arrived at a point where it was 100 days, and that's I am impressed by myself, like posting and committing every day to that. That's very good. There are a lot of technical things, so I'm not sure you want to do that. But I've been a guest on Generation Podcast. It's a French podcast. I don't know when he will. I think he went out already. The guy is faster. But that was cool to be in a guest as well. So if you have a podcast, or if you know someone who have a podcast about solo makers or indie makers, just tell me and tag me on Twitter, because I would love to be more and share my way. More. I think with good question I can be very good, and I have special things. I've been back to France during this period. So I was in France already, the last podcast I think, and it was very important to me to see my family, to see my grandparents, to see my grandma. She's starting to have Parkinson, so it's a bit hard and heartbreaking, but that's life. And when you get older, that's the things. So yeah, it's something I did coming back to between personal and business things. One of the most like hard things to do in Capgo is to start to use it. Before it was on the website, you had a 9-step, I think, to go to the website. So you go to the website, you copy paste the code, you go to your shell, you do the code, or you do what it was supposed to do, and bam, you do that for 9 steps. And it was a bit like, I was feeling like the experience not so good. And I have a friend which is music designer. I showed her what it was, the product and how you onboard, and she was like, what the fuck? And especially she's not a developer, so it was very looking horrible for her. I was like, yeah, we should find a better way. So I have imagined a way where you have only one command to run. So the website says just only one step, and second step is you're done. And on the other side, on the shell, the onboarding is happening step by step there. So already you don't have to switch, context switching. So that's a big improvement. And the second improvement, wait, I have my glasses very blurry right now. The second improvement I did is to make like the onboarding more clear on what happened and not happened. Like each step, it last fail, that tell you why, so you can improve yourself instead of contacting me on the support and say, hey, I tried to onboard and it didn't work. Because I saw on my stat I was onboarding properly only less than 30%, I think, of people. So that was not good. Like, I was like, yeah, of course I have 9% conversion. It means 1 on 3 people finish onboarding, start paying. But if I have 100%, like people on board, then I will have way more, people paying. Like if it's 1 on 3, you will start for 30%. So way better. So I've improved that. And, I need to see the numbers, how it's going. Right now, I think if I go to Capgo, sorry, and I check the onboarding. Where is my chart? In Logsnag. Right now I have 7% onboarding. and 7% subscriber. So it seems like all subscribe. And 25% people reach the app upload. So I still lose some people when it's time to check your update. So I have to improve that. And I will continue to monitor this. Very important, like Cheyenne, I had in the podcast, this product, this is one of the most I paid. And it's very important to me, like it's very useful. It's super useful. I paid a lot now, but I'm super happy to pay that. I have improved a lot also the documentation because I got many feedbacks. People don't understand like how things is made. So I redo the documentation and the CLI to organize it by domain to try to have a more organized way. And I will continue to improve that to see if I can have something making sense in a way. What I can share with you? Oh yeah, that's something very cool. In Capgo, I had the first way my backend starts. I coded my backend was in Netlify function, serverless function. Then the Supabase released the H function in Deno, so I started to code in Deno. And then I discovered Supabase has also Deno function, so I added when I wanted to add the Netlify one, I was like, I will not duplicate the code again. So I based all my code into the Supabase one, and I made a script to transform Deno code into Node.js code. So with that, I was able to support Netlify normal mode and Deno. And I made then a transformer to transform from Supabase Deno to Netlify Deno, which has a few differences. So I made that, and now I was having the three of them running with a load balancing in front. And that was working super well, but the normal node Netlify was costing 10 times more than the Deno ones. So what I have decided 21 days ago is to unplug the most expensive one to reduce my cost, because the Deno one are very way cheaper. And all this decision with the change of the storage also lead me to have a way better margin. So because of that, I was able to do the change of the pricing and to lower the price for the bigger client. So that was a good decision, I believe. I have created also new open source plugins. I saw some feedback on the community, so I made the new plugins and I answered on the community just before I got the call with Ionic team. So I was able to push my new plugins, and then I got the news from Ionic of the ban. I have also someone who asked me to do a plugin in private on Twitter. I tell him, yeah, if you want one, if it's your company, I can do freelancing to you. And he said, yeah, I want. And then he said, my company doesn't have a budget. I'm sorry. He was like a bit like sad. So I said, okay, maybe I will give a try. And I published the plugin open source. But finally, what was done, the problem was like he was needing a plugin, was only in Capacitor 2. And he was needing it in Capacitor 3. So I transferred the plugin, but in fact the plugin he was needing wasn't working on Android as he wanted, so I just removed it. But he was very happy. I did try for free to help him. I did something very interesting lately. I made a very big upgrade on my Crisp data segmentation. So now I have very clear segmentation if the people are onboarded or not, if they are paid, cancel, if whatever. So I made many segmentation in Crisp CRM, so that will allow me to send emailing to special audience, what I've thought to do, and I got some good results from that. I've also after that I have discovered like I could rewrite a bit more my I could ask ChatGPT rewrite my email and to design HTML design in it. So now I have in my usage email, I have a bar saying how much you are on your usage, like a bit like Logsnack do, but more simple design. And that's in my email. So I'm super happy about that, and that's super cool, thanks to ChatGPT. Lately, I have a lot of usage on ChatGPT, and I have 2 new projects I will tell you in this podcast we did about with ChatGPT. Oh, I just saw the image. I just added a lot of emoji also in my emails because I like emoji. So I was like, oh, I should put more emoji in my emails. I really like more funny things and more like chill things. So my email now are more with funny tones. Like if you if you reach the limit of your plan, usually the message is a bit funny. It's like you got your pants down. So I hope you will make smile some people. What I have done as well. Oh yeah, at one point I was scheduling a tweet every day, so I was able to, for a week, I tweeted every day, but then I lost track of that, but it was very good. I got very good result of that. Okay. 10 days ago, things interesting. I've done 2 things interesting. One, I've started with my little sister to do a house in Lego. Very interesting. I didn't did Lego since years, and it was so cool. I've spent 12 hours with her doing that because it was a 3 stairs house, and I really recommend that for all child, including girls. That's very cool. And my dad was thinking she has 0 patience, and now he's like, oh, I will buy her a lot of Lego because he's building patience. So I was like, yes. I'm super happy. It was very good news. And on the other side, I have started to work with Mark Louvion, the guy I met in Bali, on a project on IA, on ChatGPT. So it is called Naval IA. So we built it in a week and published it on Product Hunt. We got top 7, I think, in Product Hunt. It was very cool. And no one has paid for it, but at date now we have 5,000 users, which is great. I think it's a big it's the first time I got so many users in so few time. So I'm very happy about this. Lately I'm fighting a bit with OpenAI because we just like hit the hard limit of the spending, so I request for more, and the bot is not working until then. So we have these things. Which was nice is like we have tried to follow the trend a bit of IA. It was the first bot release it on ChatGPT 4 on Product Hunt. So it was cool to do that. I got just the access Friday. We were starting on ChatGPT 3 and I got the access Friday for the next Monday we were launching. So it was very good. And the improvement of the answer were so high. It was crazy. So that was a good learning to work with Mark, to see how we can work together, because I was really an evangelist of working in solo for long. And until now, I got many requests to work with someone and I denied it, all of them. But I don't know, with Mark, I got a feeling different. And so we did, maybe we could work together. So then we did a call to say what is our go and no go and what we want and not want. And basically we are 2 independent person who are building the same project. So every day I do things and he do things and we don't communicate to each other and don't ask the permission. So sometimes he undo what I have done, sometimes I undo what I have done, and we build together so we are solo in a way, but in the same objective. And I feel this very can fit my way. I really like that because there's so much more freedom and that's helped us a lot. And we surprise each other a lot because I have a way different way of thinking to him. So I just try to do things that can be good for him as well, but without doing things for him. And he do the same, so that we have a lot of benefit of that. Like for example, he built the whole landing page without asking me anything. I built the the GPT-4 connection without telling him anything, stuff like that. I added Telegram without telling him I will add Telegram, and it was only WhatsApp. And now the results are like we have 1,000 people have used to Telegram and 4,000 in WhatsApp basically. So it was very good results, and I've enjoyed that, and him too. So we decided to try again on a new project because we don't believe much in this project. We wanted it to do it for fun. We say like we do it for fun. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we sell it as a template of code. So I am in the process right now to sell it as a template of code. And if you are interested, the price are very clear. It's 500 euro for the code if you allow me to sell it again. Otherwise, it's 5,000. Take it or leave it. That's easy and simple. And we are super happy about that. The code is pretty clear, pretty simple, built on NetLify, so it's cheap, OpenIA, and API of Facebook and Telegram. Very easy to take it if you want. And you can do it for a different market, like Naval, you can do for Elon Musk, whatever. You can do it in lot of ways. Oh, I was thinking we can do publicly. Oh, I just imagine like we can do that publicly, like Elon Musk IA on Twitter, and anyone ask him something and he answer. Can be good. I can it can be fun. I can duplicate the project easily to do that. Okay, other way around. Let's see what we have. Oh yeah, we did the top 7 on the product. Oh, by the way, it cost us around $80, I think, Naval for 5,000 users. So not bad. I think it's a good amount for this number of users. Oh yeah, I did something very interesting. I didn't work on Capgo, Captime, my CrossFit timer since probably November. And it's still making 600 a month, 700 a month. Depend the month. And last month it was a huge renewal month, so I got money from Apple. It was very cool. I still didn't receive it because it takes time, but I know I will receive more. And this project I had often people saying, oh, I don't understand how to set the interval timer. And I had this often. I put a message, an error message, which is not clear what it doesn't work. And mainly it was not working because they start to configure something and didn't finish and try to start the timer anyway. And I put an error message and I was like, when I think back, why I did that? If this step is not complete, then ignore it and start the timer. And that's what I've done. And now it seems I don't have any more feedback of this. So I hope that will continue and people think this is the perfect app. Because that's what I try to do. It's 30 euro a year because I try to make it like the perfect timer possible. And it seems to work for now. So I was very happy to go back to this, to update a bit the package and so on. Also, coming back to Capgo, I redesigned my pricing page, who got me lot of traction on Twitter. The redesign, I got 20,000 views on that. It was crazy. To prepare the new pricings. And I'm super happy about the landing now. I redesigned also yesterday the landing, the first page, and it's sick. I love it. I really love it. I spent a bit of time on it, but I love it. I'll also add some new features on Capgo, was important to me, I think, for the statistic part. I didn't have the number of failing update of a bundle when it got downloaded, and I could store it very easily. So now I made the change to store it, and that should be used next to build a statistic about the number of installs. And I think now I want to do also how much percentage of your user base have installed this update. And if I reach that, I think I will be able to do the famous A/B testing feature I was thinking for so long and I never made, who allow you to A/B test two versions, A and B, and see what's the best. So I'm thinking about that. Lately, I've read a lot of the documentation of Expo, and that it's inspired me to improve my documentation, my process, how I do things. And I saw an article where they say they open source how the updater system works if you want to build it yourself. So I was like, oh, that means I can build it on myself as well for Capgo. Capgo could become like Expo Go or something for Expo app. And I think I have all the things ready for that. The protocol of update is a slight different, but not so far different. So I think I could definitely do it. So I will do it soon, I believe. It's just a matter of time. I finish my experiment with Mark and I will go to that. Oh, and we are back to now, what I am building now. Now I have started a new project with Mark I really like. It's landingia.com and with a score between landing and IA, otherwise it was taken, the other one. But this project is very cool because we try to build with GPT-4 a website to do the copywriting for you, to prepare your landing page. That's the first step. So you're gonna buy like a template of copywriting for your project. You just put the name of your project, the description of your project, and we ask you a few questions, and then we help you to build, to give you some ideas. And I really like this. Then the next step, I have already worked on that. It's to generate automatically with GPT section of code, like a CTA, a hero, navbar, whatever, but by ChatGPT. Right now, it's not working amazingly. One time on two is shitty and one time is amazing. But I will continue to experiment on it, and especially what I've done right now is to ask OpenAI to have more character prompts on the ChatGPT 4 to see if I can kind of training it better to understand how to code, because he has a bit of struggle to do design because he doesn't have visual taste. So I've seen like what are associated together, but sometimes he do mistakes. So I will continue to experiment on that, and my hope is to be able to have an interface like a card, but you click, and you can generate as many as CTA as you want, style, until you stop and it look like good. Then you click for generating the text, and the text generate, and then you can just drag and drop the different section in the order you want, and then done. And you published, and that's published for you the website somewhere. Right now, we are far from that. We are just like, we will export you an HTML file or project, and you can add it to your own code base. But in the future, it will be that, I believe, and we can improve it, like up to have. For example, I just got the idea now. Like if we manage to do that, then we can do a SaaS template we can sell with, and then we integrate already in the SaaS template your generated landing and product. We can go even further. So it's very cool to have a template of your product to start with, and just you have wrote and answered a few questions, and you have the basics, and then you integrate it. And if we have the SaaS template, you have already Stripe, Superbase, things into the project. So it could be super good, I think. I will share it with Mark as well. Then you have the information before you with this podcast. We will be released next week. So we have already built it, probably. Also, funny fact, to come back to Capgo, I'm sorry, I just read the things in the order of WIP. I think next time I could organize by project to be sure at least it can be separated into the video and the podcast into steps. I have since the beginning of Capgo, I've used a template. Again, I love templates. The name is Vitesse, so it's in Vue.js, And on this template, there are language by default is E18N by default, so it has different languages. And since then, I've used the template with the translation, and I've put the translation in 7 languages. But I discovered I forgot to put a language switch in the product, so no one knows there are a language different than English. Good job. So I did that, and after doing that, or before, I don't know, before doing that, I was wanting to improve my toasters, and I saw Sooner, a library in React, which was really looking nice, and I tried to find one nice in Vue and didn't find it, so I was like, okay, I will use ChatGPT to translate Sooner in Vue.js. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. I spent 10 hours on that, and I struggle a lot because I don't understand React much, so I cannot correct ChatGPT on things it doesn't understand well. And that showed me the limit of ChatGPT. You cannot have nothing, like you cannot have from nothing. You cannot build from nothing with ChatGPT. You have to know already what you're doing. If you don't have knowledge, you don't know if you build things good or not. And especially with code, it's pretty clear. You copy paste on your idea and you say, no, sorry, it's stupid what you're trying to do. So I struggle a lot with React because I don't understand React, and honestly, I don't like JS6 much. I don't like mixing a lot HTML and JS, like Vue or Angular. It's my limit, few things in one tag. Okay, but as React does, no, it's not okay. It's too much for me. So I didn't try to learn React, and each time I try to use it, I do a use effect and it go in loop or whatever. So it's everything doesn't make sense for me. Like I know for Vue.js, it's super simple. I learn it like that, and I'm super expert now. I can do very deep things super easily, and it's always super easy. I never go to see the doc almost. While in React, it seems like without someone explaining me by an hour why this concept is working like that, I couldn't understand myself. So it's very far from my logic. I don't say it's a bad tool, but it's definitely not a tool for me. So I was stuck with my problem of toaster who are not nice in my project, and then I was almost giving up. I was like, yeah, but why not I use the React one? And I searched on the internet, and someone made a project named Vuori, who can allow you to import from a React module into a Vue module, into Vue app, and he do also the reverse, import a Vue module into a React one. He did both. The guy who made that is a genius for me. It's like, thanks a lot. So I did the integration, and it works like, I just follow 5 steps in the doc and boom, works perfectly. I was like amazed. I was like, that's insane. That's what I want. So I did that, and then I was like, yeah, but developers usually say that's blah, blah, blah. It's not good because your bundle size will be exploding, blah, 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 blah. I remember the dev talk I don't like, but I was like, I don't care. But just let's have a check. So I used a Vite bundle size. I don't remember the name of the plugin, but you can see the bundle size. And I saw React was very tiny, placed somewhere in my file, and I saw my index file was very big. It was 1 MB something, 1 MB 500. I was like, what the fuck? If React is a tiny part, what is the big part? And then I saw my translation file were like super big for the. I show it with my hands for the people who listen to the podcast. And I was like, what the fuck? And my translation are loaded into the index file at the beginning of the app. And I was like, why that? That's useless. That's what led me to also do the translation things, switch. So I made a lot of async loading in my Vue app. So I reduced from 1 MB 500 to 300 KB my index file, and everything is async load. So now the app is super fast to load. And that's made me have a look to translation, and then I realized like I cannot switch to translation because I wanted to check if the async loading works for every languages. So I had to put a button for that. And what I did as well, I discovered like in Vitesse, the template I use, this loading problem of the locals was the same. So I made a pull request to Vitesse, and Anthony Fu, the guy who make Vitesse, accepted my pair the day after. I was like, oh, amazing, thanks. And I'm so happy for that. And that's lead me to think, I told a few people, and I think in the podcast, I want to make a template of code for SaaS. And I think this template will be open source. And because it makes so much sense, like everyone can contribute to it. And probably I will pay the support or the doc or what I say earlier about the project with IA. The IA on the top will be paid, but the base is free. And I think that's a good idea. I really want to share things, to learn more and to be more open. So that's a good way, I believe, to do so. And I would love to do that. How long have we talked? 40 minutes. Not so bad. Also, one thing I did not so long ago, which was very good, and I think it will help me in the future with Capgo, is I've configured a tool named Stunning. And the tool is helping you to recover failed payment, like error and credit card, everything about Stripe when you lose money because people churn, not because they don't like the product, but just because they get lazy to update their payment method or whatever. I've configured Stunning to show in Capgo banner like your card will expire soon, please fix it. Also, if you have the fail to pay, that will show you something. So that's what I've done, and I've configured all the emailing. It's 12 different emailing about oh, thank you, you just paid, or your card didn't pass, whatever. It sends a lot of kind of emails. So I've configured Stunning to do that. It's 50 euro a month. It's a bit expensive. But they claim like because of the 50 euro a month, they will make you earn back 1,000 or something a month because you have a lot of, that save a lot of money. So let's see if it works. I'm very happy with the product. It's just a bit bad design. I don't like the design much. It looks like Bootstrap 1. They design on the app, but at least the page they generate for me, I could put some custom CSS, so I customize to look more modern with my color and my branding. So I think that will do the trick. And that's it. If you want to see my new landing, I recommend you to go to capgo.app. I will put the link in the description as well. I think that's something I'm very proud of, and I want some feedbacks. So I will put it in Whip as well and on Twitter. Good catch. Thanks a lot for listening to all of this. Same as always, if you have some feedbacks about what I could share and less share, more share, if you want me to go deeper in details, I'm willing to do that. And I will continue to do this exercise to improve my way of speaking and sharing about what I'm doing. Right now, I feel a bit, I'm just reading Whip and do what I've shared in Whip already, but maybe it's valuable for you. You don't have access to Whip, I don't know. So please tell me. Have a good week, and see you next week for a podcast with a guest. Bye bye.